Welcome back to the One-on-One podcast. I am your host, Josh Katz. I am usually joined by my co-host, Kathy Baker. She is unfortunately not with us today. She is doing a workshop, but I have brought in some of my favorite people from the marketing team because we want to discuss our One Summit event that is coming up in February in Las Vegas. And so I thought, why not bring in the team that plans the entire event? They're also very familiar faces that you all should know by now. The first one is our digital director, Savag. Savag, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
How are you?
I'm great.
The other one is all of our bosses, our mentor and our friend, Corey Vasquez.
Thank you for the friend part.
How are you, Corey?
Good.
It's good to see you in person. We don't get to be with Corey in person as often, so it's a lot of fun.
It's good to be here.
And we also have Ryan there in the background, our producer. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm ready for the season to be over. I need a little break.
Yeah, I'm ready for this season to be over too.
Not gonna lie.
This is our second take on this episode because
so
Ryan forgot to hit record on the first one.
We might have hit our cap for the season. So I think this is definitely the last episode.
Please just forgive us. I don't even have a mic stand right now. I'm just holding this thing.
We're falling apart at this point.
Yeah, you can probably tell that
It's
my
the
voice is
holidays.
completely gone. I've just been traveling. I've been with family. Ryan's been making me not stop talking. And so forgive me, forgive us all. I promise we're all sober right now.
We are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're doing this clean.
So let's kind of just jump into what we are here to talk about today, which is Summit. I know we all are deep in the weeds we are deep in the weeds of planning this event. And I know we have a lot of information that we want to share. We have a lot of information that we can't share.
We can't share.
But we can
and
give
won't
clues.
share.
I think we can give clues and hints, which if you guys have been following us on social media, you've seen that we've started to kind of put out some feelers of who some of our keynote speakers are. So maybe let's start there, actually. I want to jump to you, Corey, because for those that have been to our event, they know that not only does Corey plan the whole damn event, but she also MCs the whole damn event. And that I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Thank you.
I really wouldn't.
Thank you.
So let's start there, Corey. Last year on stage, you were with Shaquille O'Neal. And I know, and your mother was there on stage with her as well.
You had to say
Hi,
it.
Mom.
You had to say it.
So how can I even say this without
Go ahead.
making a
Just
joke? How
the
can we
band-aid
get bigger than Shaquille O'Neal?
Right? Because
Like-
when we booked him last year and we tell no one our speakers, because the theory is we want you to come, we want you to realize like it's a business event, it's a life event, it's a growing your career event. But we're going to throw in these inspirational, motivational, exciting speakers. And so we purposely do not talk about who our speakers are going to
Right.
be. So we had Shaq lined up. And I remember thinking when we booked Shaquille O'Neal, I was like, what am I going to do next year? That was my first thought was like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do next year? And he came out on stage and did not disappoint. I think we'd all agree.
No, it
Like,
was
he was
it was a blast.
phenomenal.
presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 10 months of therapy later, because he brought my mother up on stage.
Yeah.
And I want to clear the air since we're on the podcast. He did not know that was
Oh
my
yeah,
mom.
no,
Yeah, that was
completely
awesome.
unscripted.
No.
Like, yeah.
So he brought my mom up on stage. I worked my whole life for my mom and dad to be able to meet somebody like Shaquille O'Neal. I think it was awesome. And then I spent a lot of time in therapy and realized that like what I love about Realty ONE Group is we're our family. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
We bring our families to Summit.
Yeah.
Our agents bring their families to Summit. Our staff brings their families to Summit
Yep.
because we say it's not only a real estate event, it's a life event. How do we get the bigger speakers? You know, different speakers appeal to different people. We have some great ones this year. And I think that's what we're running on for our agents is don't miss it. Just
Yeah.
don't miss it because you never know what we're going to pull out of our pockets. We really don't.
It really is
fumble.
it is from our pockets.
It's actually from our pockets.
I agree, Corey. I think even like I said, we are very much behind the scenes. We are planning this event a year in advance. We're trying to figure out who our speakers are. We're trying to work on the agenda. We're trying to come up with themes. But even when I'm there, I'm still surprised. When it all comes together, when you see the speakers on stage and you see the crowd react. And Svag, we've kind of beat this conversation to death. Like these people coming from every single corner of the world, coming to one place under one brand for 3 days. I mean, it's like maybe speak to that a little bit about like our international growth and the ability to network with not only them, but also like our domestic Realty ONE Group members as well.
Yeah, it's a testament to our brand and our manifesto and everything really One Group stands for, from our culture, to our coaching, uh, and even our cares and community projects that we have going on. It's all a testament to that. Everything's on display at One Summit, and
Mhm.
you see that people interacting and networking. You have folks that have never even met or even knew existed in life before, and they're making a connection and carrying that connection even post summit and becoming friends and networking and creating those not only business channels and avenues of business growth, but friends and
Yeah.
in general. They're hanging out. I've seen people on Facebook where they met at Summit and they say, "Oh, I was in the area. I want to go visit their office. Look at us. They're taking a picture. They're having fun. They're having lunch together. They're having dinner together." That's part of our culture. That's what you grow when you go to One Summit.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I think, Ryan, I actually just thought of this question. I want to ask you. You're obviously behind the camera for 90% of the event, which means that Ryan's also the one that gets to see basically a very interesting perspective. And he's the one that's cutting and splicing together our videos post event. Like, so you're getting very honest reactions. Like, what is your, it's, I know it's kind of a rhetorical question, but it's honest excitement and enthusiasm. And it's really, I've been to other events before and I've never seen anything like
Me
it.
too.
I'm curious what you
Yeah.
think.
I mean, as the resident OG on this
Mhm.
team
You
here,
are.
like I've seen Summit, like it was talked about before, the very first summit that we had was like here in Orange County. And to see like us come from like just one single ballroom of like maybe 50 to 100 people to Vegas, like it's crazy. And I think one of the greatest things is like, yeah, I might have to go to almost like every single event, at least a little bit during
Mhm.
Summit, just like all the attendees. But I think from like our perspective, it's just seeing the fact that like these people like come here to, again, like Corey said, it's a business event, it's a business convention. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, like you kind of see how we're just so different from everybody else. And I think that like permeates throughout the entire conference. Like
Yeah.
everybody just gets on board with it. And you like if you don't know what our brand is, if you've never been to like, or like if you've just joined the company, like you go to One Summit and like you know by the end of it, like you're in.
Yeah, one
Sure.
of us.
Also 5 years of working with Ryan in take one, which you'll
Mhm.
never hear because we didn't record it. In take one, you
going on
said
here?
Ryan's last name. What's his last name? How do you say it?
Esteban.
Bam.
Yes.
5 years and I have
Well,
no idea.
my dad's name is Steve, and so we always call him Esteban. So
So he gets it from.
Ryan Esteban, nice to meet you. I had no idea. That was take one.
Yeah.
But so I think, Ryan, you bring up a really good point. It is I know Corey said it too. It is a business event, but it's like when we're planning it, I don't feel like we're planning this like dry, boring, gray business event. I mean, some of the stuff that Dustin and I are putting together for the shop and, the marketplace this year. And, for those that have not been, their inboxes have not been blasted with our marketing, they should know by now that it's 5 days before the Super Bowl, which is also in Las Vegas. So there's going to be a lot of football themes and, that sort of thing happening. Like it doesn't feel like a real estate event. It really doesn't. And I don't want to give too much away, but like, I want you guys to just take in the word football.
Yeah.
Please.
Go long.
Know it.
American
love it,
football.
Become it.
American
football.
football.
Good point.
Thank you. Well,
Messi might be there.
Because I'm sitting
Oh,
with
no, I don't know.
I'm sitting with soccer players. So
you are. You're right. So like
Yes,
if
sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're it's a
Comfortable.
little bit sacrilegious for us, but I am stoked for this event. Like I mean, the Raiders are not going to be in the Super Bowl. Sorry. We're also getting a lot of good SEO in right now. We're just
We
dropping
are.
names.
Just
Like, I
dropping
mean, this is
names,
like-
doing it.
All right, Savag, tell me from previous, how many summits have we been to together? 3, 4?
3 or 4. Yeah.
What is a memorable experience that you've had?
Other than Corey's mom.
Yeah, I think we can all honestly say that Corey's mom going on stage is
Okay.
probably our favorite.
All right,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Bing.
Corey's dad.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning.
I'm going to go back maybe in reverse. You go to Shaq last year, in Jordan Belfort, and seeing when they came out on stage, I had a corner perspective of just viewing the entire room.
Yeah.
And when Shaq got announced or Jordan Belfort got announced, the facial reactions people had, like you see how they're literally their jaws dropped and they just stood up and they didn't just stand up, they jumped and they got air and they're like, wow. And having Shaquille O'Neal's presence in front of you, just that
Yeah.
huge human teddy bear,
The big giant ring.
the big, yeah,
And also just a recognizable name and face and voice that we watch on TV 3 or 4 times a week.
It's not only the name, it's the story and what you could learn behind it. We don't bring out names just to say, oh, look, we got so-and-so, and they could have a bullshit story behind them. It's not going to bring your value of attending Summit. But when you have the stories and the motivation, what you could learn from what they've been through and some of the advice they give through their speaking, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have definitely played on the athlete like train for a long time, but there's I think that's purposeful, right? Like we think about the effort and the struggles that they go through and have gone through, especially a lot of the keynote speakers that we've had are retired athletes now. I think their stories are very inspirational and roll over to our network very well.
That's just what I was going to say, Josh, is there's a parallel, I think, between what we've seen, and I didn't know this before we had them speak, between the athletes and the real estate agents and the turbulence you go through in a career.
Yeah.
Similar to what real estate agents are going through in the last year and even into next year, a little bit of that, like, have to overcome.
Yep.
And even when you think you've made it, you know, and you had a great transaction year in 2022 or 2021, there's still going to be stuff ahead.
Yeah.
And it's that perseverance or whatever. And I didn't know it existed, but we've seen that parallel between athletes. And that's why this was very deliberate that we did this during Super Bowl week and that we're maybe bringing in some athletes, but it's that overcoming, keep persevering. And I love Shaq's message because, like you guys have said, namesake, big guy, giant ring. But he really talked when he was on stage about humility and being loyal to the things that made you great, and then keeping all of that into different stages of your career. And so that's why, and you didn't ask me this question, but I'll answer it. My favorite parts of Summit are on the backside when we get home and we hear from agents. Like I listened to one video session. I went home. I did a really bad video. I did another bad video. I did a better video. I did a great video. I got 2 or 3 leads. Like, I'm so excited. Or we say it's a life event because we heard that from an agent testimonial on Facebook who said, shout out to Jessica Thompson, who said, this isn't a real estate event. It's a life event.
Yep.
And so those are my favorites. It's great to see Shaq. It's great to party. It's great to, be out by a pool and meet people and hug people. But those things, when we get back, I think for our team, especially, we realize why we do it is because it's really about, like, we want to change your life. We want you to grow your business, but we want you to grow it in a way that it makes your family better, your life better, your career better.
100%. And to that point, and like I said before, Kathy is not on this episode today. So Corey, I'm going to need you to do this in your best Southern accent.
Bless your heart, Josh.
I want you to talk about the education, some of the breakout sessions we're going to have, the networking opportunities. Let's talk about the business side of the event and what our attendees are going to take away from it.
Great, grand, wonderful, exciting welcome receptions, closing receptions, drinks, pools, whatever. Great speakers. But the cut and dry is, like, last year was a tough year. The beginning of this year's a tough year.
Yeah.
And so we understand, for all of our real estate agents, it's a leap of faith, right? To say, like, I'm going to output this money to go to Vegas. I'm going to stay at the Venetian. It's a great place to be. It's a great rate that we got our attendees, but it's a leap of faith. We totally get it. What we always say is, if you get one referral, if you go home with something that you learn that generates one lead, that commission will pay for the trip.
Yep.
And so as our offices are business planning for 2024, as our agents are planning their business for 2024, like, plan this into your business. Think of it in terms of not a family vacation, or I have to put out this money to go on vacation in Vegas. It's like, I'm going to do this so that I learn, network, get referrals, and it's going to pay for itself and then some. And we really hope that for you. So while you're there, we again, like you said, this is a very thoughtful planning session, which is why we all get so tired and exhausted, is because we put so much thought into, like, where are they really going to get the impact from what we're doing at this event?
And everything's an investment too. Everything starts with an investment. And putting this investment into attending Summit, into bolstering your career, making the network connections, getting the coaches, getting the jump start into what seems to be, I'm not an economist or have a PhD in it, but there's some signals in there that things are changing for the better, and things are going to start getting better. You want to be prepared to grab the market by the horns and go and run and get your business
That's a really great point, Savag, is like, you can't wait until that market turns. And
Yeah.
again, we know that's a leap of faith because, man, it was a struggle last year, but like, you don't want to wait till mid-year next year to say like, okay, now I'm going to turn it around. Like, you go to Summit, you invest in learning some things that are you can come back from mid-February and hit the ground running.
And we're not, I know we are the marketing team, but this is not us just trying to push tickets. Like, the reason why Corey is saying one lead will pay for your trip and Savag is saying what he's saying is because we've seen it. We've seen it time and time again at every single summit that we've ever hosted or we've ever put on, no matter what the market looks like. I know we keep saying it, but it is an event unlike any other one that I've been to or that you guys have been to. And it's a difference maker.
Yeah. I also think you see people come home, and we hear this from our agents and see it, like you said, Josh, they come home just like, okay, I'm ready to do this. And the timing, if you think of it, yes, Super Bowl week and stuff, but you come home mid-February, spring selling season starts March, April. Like, if you come home mid-February ready to kill it, then you can start getting the marketing in shape, getting the listings, like going out and doing it. You're ahead of the game. If you think of it that way.
And I know Kathy's not here, and I'm gonna try to use my best Kathyism.
Do it.
But getting prepared and coming back and getting your year straight, you don't want to be the squirrel chasing the nut. You want to be the squirrel who knows how to grab that nut.
Definitely what Kathy would say.
Because
we love you, Kathy Baker. We just
shout out to Kathy.
Yes. Was I supposed to say it like?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it.
You need it. Come on.
Very Southern.
Yeah.
I need my Woodford.
Svag actually is from Oklahoma. I would just like to throw that out there. Yeah.
And when I get heated up and I get passionate, it's like Ricky Riccardi starts transforming into Spanish. Mine starts going a little bit that accent. But you want to be. It's all about being prepared and planned and having your stuff straight. And we talk about this when it's me and digital with business planning, and you're gonna have those coaching sessions there during Summit where others may not have that access because they're going to fumble the opportunity to catch that Hail Mary that somebody may throw from main stage.
Well done.
He's going after
our jobs right now, Corey.
Well done.
I dare you.
I think another thing, and I know Taylor will be happy for me saying this, is like we never, like I shouldn't say we never, but the marketplace that we build out every year through Taylor's hard work with the partnerships that she puts together and the people that she brings in every single year. What I've seen from this year's marketplace is pretty incredible.
Spectacular.
It's literally spectacular. And that's something that our network really needs to take advantage of because there are so many cool things that we offer, and you will get to speak directly to those people from those partnerships, from those brands, and they can directly tell you how it's going to benefit your business. And so maybe I wish I actually could ask Taylor this directly, but Savag, like maybe talk about like a few of the things that might be that we can talk about that might be in the marketplace that agents or anyone who's attending the event can look forward to.
Well, let me start saying about the one marketplace might be a learning opportunity in itself. Yeah. Because as you're planning your business and your future, you're going to learn about what's out there, the deals that Taylor and her team have negotiated for Realty ONE Group professionals that I've seen those prices and what they may cost. And when you're ready to make that interaction, you're not going to get probably a better rate because she's very like lethal with her negotiation tactics. But it's a learning opportunity to see what platforms, what services, what is there to assist you to help bolster your and amplify your brand, your personal brand and your business growth. But it's also an interaction point to network because you may never know who you may talk to. You may know what you interact with. And some of the fun activities that are planned in the one marketplace in itself, you're gonna be there interacting and participating in the culture. So everything in the one marketplace or the main session or the breakout, it evolves around the uniqueness of Realty ONE Group.
Yeah. I agree. And I think the other thing, I know I keep name dropping all of these people from our different departments, which I hope you guys know, the Taylors of the world and obviously the Kathy, but Dustin, who's on our marketing team, who we've had on a previous episode, who is, a very integral part of all of our events, especially Summit. Some of the tricks that he has up his sleeve for this event from a branding perspective, just from how the event is going to move as a cohesive unit. I mean, it's it makes you really proud to be a part of.
We're scared.
Yeah, I mean, I think
We're scared. We don't know.
maybe I'm looking at it from the perspective of the attendees as opposed to us, but I mean, it's a really cool experience.
What I'll never forget is one of my first summits. We were at the MGM, and I've only been here 4 or 5 years, or 35 in dog years. Was the one shop that Dustin put together. And Dustin's our brand manager.
Wait, which one? The one at the MGM?
At the MGM.
That was inside. It
was inside. It was a big oval kind of circular thing out in front of the lobby.
Yeah.
And we have the most fantastic gear and swag and stuff because we really believe, like you said, we love the culture. You just get so into it. And there was a convention right next to us down the hall and off to the right. And I had someone run up to me at the point was like, hey, so we're in the shop, we're selling, there's people from the other convention who want to buy one shop stuff. Like, are you okay with that? And I'm like, I mean, money is money. No, but I was just fascinated that they had walked all the way over the hall. They smelled it. They saw the culture. They felt it. They came over and they were like, we're in, like, we want to buy some stuff too. And so I'll never forget that. And that's what Dustin does is like, he does create that experience. We want you to have that experience. We want you to remember, I think you said, Savag, like, why you're with Realty ONE Group, there's a definite difference in what we do at Realty ONE Group from all the other real estate companies.
I've seen clips of the other conferences that go on from, and for what, I'm not going to get into there, but maybe producer Ryan, you can drop the link in the description. And if you're watching this on YouTube below, where the episode where you had Dustin and Kimmy and talk about what goes on to put these events, and listen to it, because there is a huge team that goes on behind the scenes to make this happen, and they're working hard, not just for the sake of making the event happen, for you to get your value out of the event. It's, make it impactful, come out with your investment and go home with something positive that you can go and put in your business planner or modify your business planner for 2024 and going into the next years.
And Corey already said it. It's the idea of, I think, encouragement and like building momentum. You're basically going to leave this event going into the busiest season of the year. And this event is, if nothing else, if you get 0 leads, if you don't go to any of the events, like don't go to the welcome reception, don't go to the whatever, I swear you will leave inspired and encouraged. And sometimes that's all it is, right? Sometimes all you need is just a little kick in the pants to be like, you know what? I'm going to get up an hour earlier and I'm going to call 5 more leads, and that will come from the people that you see on stage speaking. That will come from you being surrounded by your peers within the same network. And I also think one of the things that I love about our brand is the accessibility of, you're going to be walking and your Kuba's going to walk right by you, and you can stop and grab him on the arm and say, I want to have a conversation with you about my local market.
Give him a hug.
And you can do that. And you can do the same thing with Vinny, and you can do the same thing with Mike, and you can do the same thing with Corey. And I think that's something that's really cool about our brand.
I do too. And one thing I think that we know as marketing people, this is where our specialty comes into play, is we know the different personality types. And so to your point, Josh, if you're a very pragmatic, Savag, dream of spreadsheets in your sleep kind of person, you're going to go to Summit, you're going to go to the breakout sessions, you're going to learn things, you're going to meet the partners, you're going to keep track of the new partners you want to form, use their services or their platforms, whatever. If you're the marketing kind of emotional other type of Savag, will just say, like me.
I have many sides of myself.
I'm not pigeonholing.
Dynamic.
The many faces of Savag.
Many faces of Savag. You're gonna, some of our personality types of agents get inspired and motivated, and your mindset people. So you're gonna go home and wake up in the morning and make 11 great habits of what you want to do today, and you're just gonna feel good. So we know the different personality types, and we know that the parts of the event that are gonna help you hopefully again grow your business.
Perfectly said. We can probably talk this out for another hour or two if we wanted to, but before we go, also, this is our last episode of the season, so enjoy this.
Also, should we make sure it recorded?
Ryan, are we
red?
We're good.
Red.
Is there a take 3?
The numbers are going.
I
think we're good. I think we're good.
Okay,
good.
We're good this time.
So I hope everybody really loves that this is how we're ending it, with Ryan royally screwing up.
I had such a good track record this whole season.
I think he did it on purpose.
But I want to ask the 3 of you before we leave and before we all jump away for the holidays, what are you most without giving anything away?
Okay.
Ryan, we'll start with you. What are you
Good.
most looking forward to for Summit 2024?
Honestly, like the real, like, if I can't like say who is going to be there, like it's really having conversations like with the agents who like I've met like multiple times who come back year after year. And it's literally, it's literally just like a passing moment where they see me running around with a camera. And like, hey, Ryan. And then 9 times out of 10, I don't remember the name, but like I remember the person. And I'm just like, it's just like,
but it's cool, right? Like
it's
as our
that
network grows, it still feels like a family.
Yeah.
You know?
Like it's like I see, it's like that one, it's like when you have like a family reunion, like every year
Totally.
you see all those people. It's crazy that, and it just keeps growing. So if I can't say who's speaking, you know,
Then
Taylor
there's
Swift,
that.
and there's that.
Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, power duo.
Savag.
Well, before we get into that,
Yeah.
talking about growth, this podcast and the effort that these two gentlemen and Kathy have put in to this podcast and its growth. If this is one of your first times tuning in, go and read that playlist. Go and look at the different topics that have been covered.
They're so much better than this one.
And they actually recorded the first take.
I actually had a boom on the last one. I wasn't holding my mic.
Our budget's
Going downhill.
And you'll see, like the time when you had Taylor Swift on, it was
exactly.
great.
Exactly.
8 or 9 episodes. I can't remember.
But seriously, Kathy, Josh, Ryan, great work.
Thank you.
Closing out the season.
Thank you.
This has been great, and a lot of value that our affiliate owners, our real estate professionals, our teams at the hub, that they've gotten a lot of use and a lot of information out of this, and can't wait to see what's in store next.
Thank you.
For Summit, I'm really excited to see again post Summit.
The spreadsheet after
that's a good answer.
It's
a very Savag answer.
That's a Mike Clear thing. No, and what I love is just seeing the camaraderie that forms post Summit and the networking. There's the referrals and the business aspect out of things, but just seeing how many folks who have never come to a summit and it was their first summit, and they're like, it was worth the investment. It was worth taking the time and making the trip to Vegas and being a part of the whole summit experience. Business formations, networking, the culture. That we have our Realty ONE Group, trademark fund and the parties. It's what's going to move your business and your personal brand in your markets in a positive flow. And just seeing that online, I'm always online, and I'm looking at our professionals and our owners and just seeing the outcome out of that.
Yeah.
Are you speaking again? Are you gonna have a breakout?
There might be a Savag breakout.
For those that either haven't attended or haven't attended one of Savag's breakouts, it's arguably, I mean, you have Shaq and then you have like Savag.
Pretty much.
I mean,
let's not set
it's a showstopper.
Those things are jam-packed, so you got to get in there early.
They really are.
Like,
we're actually not even kidding. Like they are a showstopper.
And I don't charge.
You really
I don't
wants
have a
to.
right.
He really wants to, but he doesn't.
I don't need a charcuterie board in my right.
All right, Corey, what about you?
I don't know. I don't want to be trite, but like after COVID, we missed a year of Summit after COVID. And then we did a virtual base camp retreat, which is our leadership retreat. And man, like COVID just, I think, gave so many of us all perspective. And so I would just say like after, like what you guys said is just the coming together, and you can't put a tangible on that. As much as you can, like you get a referral, it'll be worth your trip and you'll learn how to do video or whatever. You can't get a tangible out of the just being together and that feeling that you feel. And I think that like Savag, you said it is like people go and they never don't go again. No. They always come back.
That's a great point.
Because it's like, you just can't beat it. That's an investment in your business. It's like getting a master's degree or taking a certification or something. If you're a professional in a different field, it's like invest in it, do it. Because again, whatever personality type, whatever fuels your soul, you're going to get it. I'm pretty sure from Summit, we work really hard to make sure you do.
I agree. And to answer my own question, which I think we all have kind of answered it similarly, Ryan and I always have the opportunity to, we bring the podcast on the road and we record episodes like we typically will do like a mini series or mini episodes while we're in Vegas. And when we do that, we get to talk with a lot of people that we wouldn't normally get to record with. And we get to hear their like honest reaction in the moment. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really moving. Not only is it like, it makes us feel good because we have worked really hard on this event, but it's an overarching like realization that people really love this brand. They love working for this brand. They know that it's different. They know that this event is different, and it's just a cool feeling.
So good.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Corey's going to kill me right now.
Okay.
If you listen to this podcast this deep in,
Oh, Corey's gonna kill you. It sounds like you're taking over our podcast.
Same.
if you reach this point, and if you go and get your One Summit ticket and use the promo code Kathy Baker 2024,
Okay. Okay.
you will get a special rate on your Summit ticket.
Just did it.
Kathy Baker 2024.
That is unscripted right there.
Don't put it in the beginning.
No, it'll go in the end. So you have to get to this point.
You have to get this point in the podcast.
All right.
I'm gonna hit my head on this microphone really hard.
You'll get a special rate.
All right.
Corey's about to walk out on this podcast.
Savog said it. I don't want to say anything more. So thank you for joining us this whole season. Please join us at Summit in February next year, February 4th to 6th at the Venetian in Las Vegas, Nevada. We will all be there. Kathy will be there with us. Everyone will be there. Anyone who's anyone in this company will be there. So please, please, please join us. Go to onesummit2024.com. And yes, if you are listening right now, please use that coupon code.
Plug it in one more time.
Savog one more time.
Kathy Baker 2024, all one word.
All one word.
Special deal.
That's it. I'm ending it there. Thank you, guys.
Just do it.
We thank you for joining us today on another episode of One on One, a Realty ONE Group podcast. We are powered by One.you and ask if you have suggestions, recommendations, or questions, please email learning@realtyonegroup.com. And remember, pay close attention to the details. Listen to understand, not respond, and always be a resource, not a sales pitch.